How's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back here with another video, another topic. Now, when I discussed this topic with some people, including my siblings, they said you should talk about more. Many people, such as my siblings or my sisters mainly, said you should talk about more things that will interest more people and are topical or whatever. I think that was the word one of my sisters used. But I hope people out there will enjoy this video and my videos generally, and my quirky mind, especially in this case neurodivergent or neurodiverse or special needs or learning disabled people, whichever term you prefer, because I hope this will inspire neurodiverse people and your families and their families out there. So, but even those who are interested in neurodiversity and knowing about the positive sides of neurodiversity and my quirky mind as well, I hope that people find that this interesting. That is. But yeah, it's just for a bit of fun today. I thought I'd go into my imaginations, as it's the 17th. I think of imaginatives for some reason on the 17th. An old drama class I did. In an old drama class I was part of for a while, we talked about imaginatives, where you could use your imagination, which you're not allowed to in school, I suppose, or not very often anyway, or in use your imagination and think for yourself while it's still legal, I suppose. Or although you probably can't do so in school, but anyway, I'm going to try and stop waffling. And here is a list of some of my ideas. I know I did think about and try to do more, or have been trying to do more, sort of mixing up a bit more between list videos and just general, I don't know, stories or things like that. But I do struggle to sort of get around to doing such. For me, lists are an easier way for me to organise my thoughts. But yeah, please share this video with any neurodivergent people you know, people with dyslexia, ADHD, autism, or connected conditions, dyspraxia or whatnot, and their families, which I hope will inspire them. And I hope people out there generally support my videos as much as possible. So anyway, here goes. So talking about my imaginations, number one, talking about my imaginations, I dream that, imagine and hope I may dream that this network will be started one day, maybe on my birthday. That would be quite interesting, although I don't really celebrate birthdays as such, but it would be interesting if on my birthday, August the 29th, which is a Tuesday, which I often think of like banking ideas and business ideas on, if it got sort of set up and at least sort of perhaps registered or with some sort of intent or whatnot, but yeah, if someone set it up, if I was like the founder, but other people set up. Although with my ideas, ideally I would love to found them, or start them up in what I call the six, register them in what I call the six between them, so it would help what I mentioned before. I've called the six in my previous videos. I don't want to go into too much detail about that in this one, but yeah, ideally it would be set up in those nations, basically developing nations and former colonies. But yeah, to be set up basically as soon as possible, possibly on my birthday or something like that, and for a few neurodivergent billionaires to join, and then as the idea expands, hopefully it'll be more structured and more members will join, especially if it works well. If they pull their money and resources together and it works well, hopefully more will join. Number two, on that note, I hope they'll learn from each other and network together, share information and ideas, pull money and resources together. And if it does well, again, hopefully more will join over time as they learn about it. Neurodivergent billionaires. In order to be a member, you would have to be, other than myself as the founder, all of the members would have to be both neurodivergent and billionaires. Although others could invest, like banks or businesses, whether they're neurodiverse or whether they're owned by neurodiverse people or not, they could invest. But to be a full member, you would have to be both neurodivergent and a billionaire, like Richard Branson, Elon Musk, possibly Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gross, Charles Schwab, and many others like that with dyslexia or ADHD or autism, Aspergers, which are a form of autism, I believe, or whatnot. I hope this will also help people to learn about neurodiversity and the strengths as well as weaknesses that we have. In spite of our weaknesses, we do have strengths. And it could be used to invest in neurodivergent people, which I hope to come to. Ideally, my idea to set it up would be that, again, as many members join as possible over time. I imagine, though, initially it would be one or two members, perhaps, if I'm lucky, and then hopefully it'll expand to maybe hundreds of members if there are that many neurodivergent billionaires in the world, which I think there probably would be if like 10% of billionaires are neurodivergent, and there are about 2,000 or so in the world, possibly even more by now. There would be that many. There'd probably be even more than 10%. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting research as well to find out how many are. Number 3, initially, my dream would be, as I say, to set it up, and then as the idea, so possibly to meet up once a week or whenever it is agreed upon, possibly on certain agreed dates or days or times, possibly online, like on Zoom. Obviously, billionaires are busy, so having fun and whatnot. So it might be online, it could be in person, it could be even, sometimes I imagine it around a desk or something like that. But as the idea expands, if there are hundreds of members, or if there are so many members, it would be hard to see them. Even if they're not quite 100, it would be hard to see a desk which is big enough for that many people. It'd be quite interesting if one was made that big. But it could be on Zoom, it could be Facebook even, might even be, well, I don't think it could work on YouTube, but it could be on something like Zoom, a video sharing conference or whatever, conferences, summits, and events, anything that could host those sorts of things. It could be on any of those. Number 4, I hope it would be ethical and not corrupted or anything like that, but I suppose I can't really guarantee such. Number 5, I dream to use this network to, as a founder, I would love to have 10% of whatever equity the company makes, 10% of the company. Probably no more or less, really. Although I'm not, as I often mentioned, materialistic, I would love to give, but I would love to have that 10% so I could donate that split in, so a fifth or 20%, whichever you prefer, each to 5 different causes, which I have to mention. Again, I know I've mentioned those in previous videos, but they are Italian football from a more selfish point of view, hence why that's the first. Celtic FC, libertarianism, which would benefit these members anyway, with privatisation, deregulation of industries and lower taxes and things like that. Supporting people from former colonies. I'd love this network somehow to be ran for the benefit of former colonies as much as possible, people who are colonised or developing nations, to invest in them, for instance, and donate as much of our profits to them as we can, as I can get to be agreed upon. Ideally, it would be run by in conjunction with those nations, or possibly registered in those nations. But most likely, it would probably be registered in America or somewhere like that, with people like Elon Musk being probably some of the main members, as he's probably the richest neurodivergent person, as well as one of the richest people in the world, possibly the richest, both neurodivergent or just generally. So I suppose that shows what we can do. I've heard people say that Elon Musk, Bill Gates and people like that have dyslexia, but I'm not sure what evidence there is on that. But I know Elon Musk says he has Aspergers. I think also Bill Gates probably does. A lot of people in tech, even Mark Zuckerberg. I was joking recently on my Facebook status saying that I think Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk should get on better if they both have Aspergers, sort of part joking and part not. But if they were part of this network, hopefully they could network together, pool their money and resources together, maybe even have good legal teams that look at how they could monopolize legally. I dream for the business to be ethical, but I can't guarantee whether it would or not. But again, I hope to donate to those 5 causes. I think I forgot the 5th one, which was alleviating suffering and spreading peace, love, joy, hope, and happiness, and that kind of thing, tackling poverty as part of that, of course, and that kind of thing. Again, spreading peace, love, joy, and all those positive things. Number 6, again, I would love to invest in and possibly even donate to Italian football. I'd love to showcase what neurodivergent people can do for Italian football, soccer, for any Americans out there, or calcio, as it's called in Italy, or footie, as I love to call it. I love all those terms, but I know some people don't like the term soccer, but some people even hate it, but I love all those terms, all 4 of them. But we could showcase what we could do generally as neurodivergent people by sharing our ideas, creativity, out-of-the-box thinking, and that kind of thing, experiences and things like that, helping Italian football, maybe practicing with Italian football, and in this case, investing in Italian football and showing the business side. Elon Musk may or not be interested in soccer, but he might be able to talk about the business side of how to attract investment, as he's probably, I'm sure, done for his own business, of course, I would imagine, and even people like, if they do have Aspergers, people like Bill Gates and people like that. So this is like an expansion on the dyslexic billionaires network, where it would be more generally neurodivergent. So it would include people who might not necessarily be dyslexic, but might have Asperger's syndrome, Asperger's for short, or other forms of autism, perhaps even or ADHD, or even dyspraxia. I was discussing recently, saying how I wonder if there are any dyspraxic billionaires in the world. I think it'd be quite interesting to find out if there were. So I'd love to see research on such. I know money isn't everything, but it is pretty helpful to have money. I suppose it does keep you more secure. I think it does give you more freedoms. For instance, you can quit a job you don't like if you have money, but if you need the money, you have to stick to things you don't like, perhaps. So I think it gives you more freedoms, options, choices, freedom of choice, which means what freedom is, I suppose. Freedom of, well, I don't know if it would necessarily give you freedom of expression, but it does give you that empowerment, I suppose, I would imagine. Number 7, as ever, I'd love to hear what you think about these ideas, or read what you think about these ideas. If you want to make any reaction videos, even take the mick out of me a bit if you want. I'll try and take it on the chin and have a bit of fun. I hope you won't be too harsh, but you can if you want, as long as it's not violent or anything, as long as it doesn't encourage threats or anything like that. But on the subject of football, soccer, calcio, footie, whatever you want to call it, I would love to showcase what we could do for Celtic as well, Celtic FC in Glasgow, Scotland. Shout out Celtic FC as well as Serie A, the Italian top league, Serie B, Serie G, and that kind of thing as well. And the Italian national team perhaps even helping to develop the game across Italy for country and club and country, because we could help to build academies and things like that as well, fund academies, so they help with training and stuff like that. So even if the neurodivergent billionaires don't play football, soccer, or whatever themselves, they could still invest into such, or possibly even donate to such. I'm sure they have the money to do so. I would certainly love to donate 20% of all my money, if I could, towards the benefit of Italian football and Celtic, as well as those other causes I talked about. Number 8, again, I hope it will be a positive force for good around the world. I may dream, as I say. I'm just trying to put it out to the universe. Part of me does think making these videos might be a waste of time, but as I say, I may dream, and putting it out to the universe, hopefully something might come along. Maybe people like Elon Musk will watch this, stumble across these videos. I don't really use Twitter or Instagram or anything like that, but I know he owns Twitter, has turned it into X, but maybe he could invest in YouTube one day, and maybe he'll watch these videos. I don't know, but who knows whether he invests in YouTube or not. Maybe he'll change that to X as well. I don't know, but would be quite scary if he did, maybe, because like be world domination. Maybe not, just kidding. But obviously I have to say nice things about neurodivergent billionaires, I suppose. Number 9, again, I hope to prioritize those 5 causes. I would love to encourage the investors to invest in those things, but they would be able to, obviously different shareholders and ex-shareholders would be able to have a different say on, and I probably wouldn't be the biggest one, so they would probably have a lot more of a say than me. For instance, if they put more money in, if they have more wealth, power, and things that they could contribute, basically, generally, access to those sort of things, they would probably have more of a say than I would as a founder. Number 10, again, I would love to have 10% off whatever profits are made. I also hope these sorts of ideas and this sort of thing would be able to inspire, will be able to inspire young people with neurodiversity around the world, especially in developing nations. We could perhaps have academies which mentor, teach, train and whatnot neurodivergent people in developing nations, former colonies and whatnot. And often those are the same thing, I suppose. And our own special independent schools, learning to invest together and supporting neurodivergent people, even investing in neurodivergent people, so they could be the future neurodivergent billionaires. But I know anti-capitalists out there will probably say, including many of my relatives, that they even don't like the idea, or even hate the idea that there are billionaires. So I often have a deal that if anyone talks about weddings or marriages, I get to talk about neurodivergent billionaires or dyslexic billionaires specifically, or whatever, because I don't like weddings. So I suppose we're even in that way. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, and I know I did go a bit over schedule. I do try and keep them to about 10 minutes. So if you've made it this far, I really appreciate it. Please drop some likes and comments if you'd be so kind, and I'm out. Peace out.